Yeah, once again, we're going to try to speak. Almost, Paxton. It's not so much when we're saying the thing, because you can, whenever you're speaking right then. But what are we talking about when I say to
Like
use
a
a
different
tense?
form of the word.
Yeah, so the form of the word changes, but what does that tell us?
When you did the action.
Exactly, when something happened. Yeah, exactly. So, tenses. Tense equals when. Okay, tense equals when something happened. So, if we have a timeline, we're going to say that the middle is now. Going to the right is the future. And going to the left is the past. Okay? We have 9 different tenses. So, if I'm saying that something's happening now, what tense do I use?
Present.
The present tense, exactly. So if it's happening right now, we use the present. Present can be used to say is happening or happens. So if I say hablo, it can mean I am talking or I talk. Hablo is an example. Okay, so that's the present. What else do we have? Who can think of another tense?
The preterite.
The preterite. And is that a past tense or a future tense?
Past.
Yeah. Okay. So when we talk about the preterite, it's something that happened. So the preterite happened already. And it's specific. So rather than happening over a period of time, it just happened once, which is why we just have one dot, happened. And that might look like hable with an accent mark. Spoke. I spoke. What other tenses do we have?
The pluperfect.
The pluperfect. The pluperfect. So the pluperfect happened, had happened before something else. So we're gonna put it here. Pluperfect. Had happened before something else. Before something else happened. And what might that sound like? If hablo is speak or talk and hable is spoke or said, then what would this be like? Había hablado. Había hablado. Okay. So we're gonna have speak. We have spoke, which we did. And we have had spoken so far. So we have 3 out of 9 tenses so far. All right, what else? What other tenses do we have?
subjunctive?
Yes, the subjunctive. We're going to put that by itself. So let's wait on that. Yes, the subjunctive, but we're gonna wait on that one. What else do we have?
Imperfect.
The imperfect. Good. So the imperfect is also a past tense. Can I put a dot for the imperfect? Not really. I can't really. So the imperfect could really have happened anytime in the past. We don't know specifically when it happened. That's part of what the imperfect tense tells you. So imperfect, maybe I shouldn't put that there, but imperfect does that mean happened? What does that mean?
Doesn't mean like,
Try again, because your audio got weird.
oh, sorry. Doesn't it mean like it's happening in the future?
No, it's definitely in the past, but happening is a good word. So was happening, or used to happen. Those are both good translations of what the imperfect indicates. And that looks like hablaba in the yo form, hablaba. So that would mean like was speaking or used to speak. Okay. What else? There's one more past tense. Okay, I'll tell you. It is the present perfect. The present perfect, which translates to has happened. Once again, before something else. So has happened before right now, basically. Has happened already. Has happened already. And that would look like he hablado. Have spoken. Have spoken. Is this helpful, you guys?
Yeah.
What we're doing right now, going through the tenses and making sure we know when they happened and what they translate to?
Yep.
C.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
All right. So that's 5 so far. There are 9. There are 2 more that are not subjunctive, so we're going to use on the timeline. Okay. Can anyone remember? All of these so far have either been present or past, but we have
Future.
the future, right? So future.
C.
Yeah. So with future, we don't really know when. It's any time after the present. Future will happen. And then the yo form for hablar, that looks like hablaré. Will speak. And we're going to think of these 6, as concrete, even though the imperfect is still kind of vague, but concrete. And why are we going to think of them as concrete? Does anyone know what a concrete idea is? Or a concrete
Solid.
event? Solid. Solid. So what does that mean? Did these things definitely happen? Or will happen?
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. They either are happening, did happen, or will happen. So all of these things are concrete events that we can put a time on. Even if the imperfect, that time is vague. We still know it already happened. Okay? With the 3 other tenses, we don't really talk about concrete. We talk about possible. We talk about possible. Okay? So I'm going to use gray to talk about things that are possible. Possible. So our 3 tenses that are possible in English look like would, speak, that I speak, or that I have spoken. Those are our 3 possible tenses. Okay. Why? All right, let's just do it. Okay, so would speak. Does anyone remember what tense that is? Would speak?
Future.
Not really, because would indicates that it may or may not. Like, if I could, I would. If I am able to, I would. Hmm? The conditional would happen. Does anyone remember the conditional? We don't know. Can you guys still hear me? Because I'm not getting any feedback at all. Yes, you can? Okay, that's fine. Okay, if we're just being quiet, that's okay. I just want to make sure the internet's still working. All right, so would happen. And for hablar in the yo form, that would look like hablaría. Hablaría. Okay. Okay. And then we also have the subjunctive. I don't know where I'm going to fit this. The subjunctive. Just put it up here. Subjunctive. That it happened. All right, so when we say that it, that's a very strange way to say things in English, but it's like it's important that it happen. It is good that this happens. It is necessary that this happens. Okay, that's the subjunctive because you're talking about something that may or may not happen, but it would be good if it did. Okay, so to say that I speak, it is hable. Oh no, sorry, no accent mark. Hable, without an accent mark. What does the accent mark make that say, actually? So with the accent mark, it's the preterite, right? And without it, it's the subjunctive, which is one reason why accent marks are so important. Because they mean a totally different thing. The last one, the last tense we're going to look at right now is the present perfect subjunctive. Okay. Which would be that it has happened. Happened. Okay, that it has happened. And that looks like haya hablado. Okay. It is good that this has happened. It is bad that this has happened. It is important that this has happened. Okay. We're pretty confident that the thing actually did happen. We're pretty confident that the thing actually did happen, but the reason that it's in the subjunctive is because we're giving an opinion about it. Okay? How are we doing?
I'm good.
It's a lot of information, but are we okay? Are we following?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so listen, I'm gonna save this picture, so don't worry. What I wanna do right now is talk about your assignment for tomorrow because it is directly related to this. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to write a sentence in each of these tenses. Okay? You're going to write a sentence in each of these tenses. So this is what your assignment looks like. I used the same verb as I used on that drawing that we were just doing. I used hablar. And I gave you an example for each one. In every sentence, I use a time phrase like hoy, or ayer, or de niña, right? I always tell you exactly when it happened. Why is it important that I'm telling you when?
Because then we can figure out what tense we need to use.
Exactly, because the time that it happened indicates to you what tense you need to use, okay? So when you write a sentence, you need to tell me when it happened. If you would like to use the same word that I use, that's fine. I see something in the chat. Yes, Will, I want you to use the same verb. So I used hablar, and I want you to pick a verb and use that 9 times. So sticking with one verb is helpful because it shows you how that word changes every time. Okay, so for the present, the preterite, the imperfect, the present perfect, the pluperfect, and the future, those are very specific things. Those are our concrete tenses. We know that they either have happened or definitely will happen. For the last 3, these are more vague. The conditional might happen given a certain set of circumstances. The subjunctive may or may not happen. In the present perfect subjunctive, we're giving an opinion on how we feel about something that has happened. So for the last three, you not only need to give a time, or actually, sometimes you need to give a time, but you need to give a conditional phrase. So a, what are we calling them? An impersonal expression. So in the conditional, I would use this one, si pudiera. Si pudiera means if I were able to. My sentence says, if I were able to, I would speak with my friends in a public space. Right? If I were able to. So if I were you, I would also use if I were able to. In the subjunctive, I used an impersonal phrase. It's important that. And in the present perfect subjunctive, I also used an impersonal phrase, an impersonal expression. It's good that, as well as the word ya, which means already, and hoy, which means today. So I'm giving both the reason to use the subjunctive as well as a time frame. Okay, and I'm gonna leave these examples for you guys. You can write your sentences right under mine. Okay. This is gonna be due tomorrow. So you're gonna choose a verb. It can be any verb that you want, any verb that you think you can use 9 times. And write a sentence in each of the given tenses. You must use a time phrase or an impersonal expression, sometimes both, like in the present perfect subjunctive, in every sentence. Follow the example that I gave you for each sentence, but you need to make your sentences original and creative. If you use Google Translate, you will not get credit and you cannot redo it. So make sure that you do this on your own. And if you have questions, reach out to me. Okay? We're not doing a Zoom tomorrow, so that gives you time to reach out to me if you need to. All right. I am going to have this be due tomorrow at 8 p.m. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. And I'll put it live today for you at 8 p.m. so that you can have a full 24 hours if you want to work on it. Okay, so you can look at it, you can think about it, because this is a more complicated assignment, but I think it's really, really important that we know what all the tenses are and how to use them. Okay,
Miss Flaherty,
Jack.
I found out something new today.
What's that, Jack?
I like Spanish music.
Cool, Jack. Thank you very much.
I like it a lot.
Me too. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about the tenses?
No, thank you.
No? We feel good about this? More or less?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
wonderful.
I'm gonna save this picture. I'll put it on Classroom for you. That assignment will go online later today. And if you have questions, email me, okay?
Thank you.
All right, adios.
Adiós, señora.
Adios.